Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the first official garden tour where everything is planted. I'm really excited about it. I should say most things are planted. I have a little bit of space I would love your feedback on. If you're new here, hi, my name is Emily. This is Emmett. The other two boys, Max and Wyatt, are playing in the pool out back. I wanted to walk you through a few other things in this yard. This is our first spring summer here. We moved here in December and I've just had the best time discovering all the things popping up in this yard. We're standing under these beautiful maple trees, which I just love so much. They cast so much shade over the driveway. Oh, there's some screaming happening. They're kind of past their prime now, but I wanted to give you a quick look at some irises in this garden bed. This garden bed overall is pretty overgrown and kind of a disaster. I don't even know what to do with it. The irises look beautiful. Before those bloomed, there were some daffodils back there. There's some peonies. I don't know if this is maybe a lilac that didn't bloom quite. And there's some phlox here on the ground. Looks like some violets over there. I don't know. This bed is really overwhelming. Here's a patch by the road of our driveway. It was all like a dirt garden bed in the winter with some sticks hanging out, and now it's all grown out to be one certain type of plant. I don't know if this is a flowering plant. My husband kind of hates it. So maybe if it doesn't turn into anything beautiful, we can turn this into a pumpkin patch or something. I also wanted to be sure to show you guys before it all dies off this beautiful, vibrant orange azalea. I have been blown away by its beauty. You can see it's also kind of becoming past its prime. Just look how beautiful it is. The bumblebees were loving it. It smells so amazing. This little tiny lilac is also so beautiful. They smell so great. I love this yard so much, I could cry. We'll get into the veggie garden soon, I promise. We have this decorative fence situation. It was full of those white flowers, which I now forget what they are called. A lot of them were dying, so there's a peony here. I pulled out all of the dying ones, and in between I planted giant sunflowers. So I'm hoping that there's a big field over those, past those trees, and the wind coming off that field is intense sometimes. So I'm hoping that the fence will give the sunflowers a bit more stability. This is the last flower type plant I would like to show you guys. This is our huge rhododendron. It's actually fenced in there. The previous owners had it fenced in, and we just decided to leave it. The fence is kind of ugly, but the health of this rhododendron is so much better than the one we had at our last house. Things are just starting to bloom. They are so beautiful. I didn't know I would love flowers in my yard as much as I do. We didn't really have anything like that at our last home. Okay, enough of the flowering shrubbery and trees around our property. I just wanted to share how beautiful things are looking. Things are timed really well, if you can say that. Like the daffodils and the tulips have come and gone, and now other plants are blooming, and the yard is just constantly in a state of beauty. Whoever planned out and landscaped this property did such an amazing job, and I'm so grateful for it. But now let's get into more of the produce side of things that I have been working on this spring. First, we have these 3 bushes. I don't know if all 3 are blueberry bushes or maybe one is different, but I do know this is a blueberry bush because you can see a ton of berries are coming up on this bush. Hopefully we can get to some of them before the birds do. Here are my 2 raised beds. I finally have them planted. So far in here, I have 4 pepper plants and 4 tomatoes. My tomatoes were much taller, but I planted them as deep as I could. Also, the 2 on the 2 on the right, I planted with an egg. I've heard some people recommend that, and it just so happened that Emmett was so helpful unloading the groceries the day I wanted to plant them, and actually cracked 2 of the eggs, and I didn't want them sitting in the fridge, so I don't know, we'll do a little experiment, I guess. This guy, which I'm making a big shadow on, doesn't really look to be doing very good. You can see it's much smaller than the other ones. I've been very good at watering these, but I don't know, it looks dry in here again, and I just watered them not that long ago. It's very hot and dry here the last few days, so I will be sure to come out again this evening. In the second bed, it looks much the same as last time. A lot of my radishes are bolting. My lettuce bolted all except for just 1. So I left that 1 in and re-sowed some more. I don't know if they will come up or not. I did plant 3 beans in here to fill in some gaps, but some critters are getting into them. So half a leaf gone here. This one's looking pretty good, and something nibbled this guy before he even really had a chance. So I think I'm gonna pull this one out and put a new bean in there. It is continuing to grow taller, but like there's no leaf or anything in there. The kids really wanted a pumpkin patch, and so my husband and I decided to put them here amongst these trees. They still do get sunshine, but this is a pain in the butt to mow this area, so I put some here. They say the pumpkins need about 8 to 10 feet of space, and they are sprouting up, which is very exciting. So 1 here, 1 over here that can tumble down the hill. There are 3, 4 sprouting up here. I'll have to thin them to 2 plants per mound, as per the package directions. But I'm really happy that they at least germinated. The kids are very excited. If, you know, all the animals eat them because they're not fenced in or anything, then I can always just get them from the local farmer's market when it comes time to carve pumpkins, but they really wanted to try. All right, last but not least, we have the big in-ground bed. Before I forget, a quick update on our rhubarb. I'm about to harvest a good chunk of this to make a strawberry rhubarb pie tonight or tomorrow. I'm excited about that. I have everything I need. And then everything in here is now planted, with the exception of along the back there. There's another 2x10 bed that is completely overtaken with weeds, and I don't know what I'm putting in there quite yet, but we've gone over this quite a bit. Wyatt planted another sunflower here. This needs to be weeded so terribly. I come out every day and pull a couple handfuls when the kids, you know, give me a little bit of a break. But there are some spinach, lettuce, carrots, which are looking really great, and the peas are having some blossoms on them, so that's very exciting. They have leaned to this fencing and are starting to trellis up them. I'm realizing now I should have had a trellis in between them because they've kind of attached themselves to each other, but I was under the impression that bush beans, 1, that these are bush beans, and 2, that they didn't need a trellis, but I could be wrong on either or both of those things. We have a cabbage here, which is doing much better now that the heat wave has passed, and 1 more bean there I just tucked in there. There were supposed to be another cabbage here that never germinated, so I stuck a bean in. These carrots are looking amazing. These are volunteers. They just popped up of their own accord in this garden, so I decided to just leave them. And then around here somewhere, right here, I think. I'm hoping this is it, a cucumber, but I don't see the second one that I planted. So I'm gonna have to come back through and re-sow. And again, with the weeding, it's just insane. And then I left some strawberries here. I mostly pulled out as many as I could. They were overtaking the entire garden bed, but I decided to leave a handful, and then also planted 2 zucchinis. So there's one that popped up there and one right there. I just planted them a little over a week ago, I think, maybe 8 or 9 days. And lastly, in this hole, this is 4 by 8, I made a mound here and put in some squash, and some of them are popping up. Again, it said to sow 4 to 6 seeds and then thin to the strongest 2. So I see 3 popping up. I will give them a little bit longer. I said to mound up the dirt and plant them on top. So that's what I did. This is my very first garden. I have no idea what I'm doing. So because of that, I'm always welcoming more advice. I'm really happy with seeing all of my vegetables popping up. Of course, I've had some things not germinate and just continue to go through and re-sow. I really want a good succession going. That's why I only have like, what, 4 bean plants in right now, because I know beans can be pretty prolific. And we are a family of 5, but mostly small kids. And I don't want to have 500 green beans that I feel pressured to eat within like a week. I'd rather space out planting green beans and have them for more of the summer, if that makes sense. So if you have any suggestions for what I can do with this section, I was kind of thinking, I have more peppers and tomatoes in the house that have started that I could only fit 4 of each in that raised bed, to maybe fill in some of these gaps along the border, because I do know they can get quite tall. I was also considering, you know, more green beans like I mentioned, but maybe more peas, but I don't know if it will get too hot for those to plant again now versus just waiting. I don't know. I'm very excited about our yard and our first vegetable garden as a family. I'm really excited to be growing food for my family. I already feel so much passion, and I'm already very proud of myself for how far we've come, even though nothing is really ready yet. We did harvest a few radishes and some rhubarb so far, and that's it. But just seeing everything growing and knowing I'm working so hard to feed my family organically from the earth, from the new land that we worked so hard to purchase, I just feel really good about that. That's it for today's garden tour. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know the kids are coming. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.